This is Valmiki Ramayan, Season 6, Episode 3, Ravan's Palace. Hanuman was going around Lanka searching for Sita. And then he saw a spectacular complex of buildings at the highest point of the city, the jewel of Lanka, Ravan's Palace. There were thousands of well-armed Rakshasas guarding it. Hanuman decided to check the area around the palace first. In this part of the city were the grand mansions of the senior Rakshas leaders. Hanuman went from one building to another, but there was no sign of Sita. He then slipped inside Ravan's palace. We saw this opulent palace earlier in Season 4, when Ravan proudly showed it all to Sita. We saw staircases of gold, windows of silver and ivory, pillars and walls studded with diamonds and gems. Now Valmiki says, in the outer courtyards, Hanuman saw many fine horses and mighty elephants. Interestingly, apart from elephants with 2 and 3 tusks, some of the elephants also had 4 tusks. Varanaishcha Chaturdantaihi. This comment has exciting implications on the dating of Ramayan, for the 4-tusked elephant became extinct thousands of years ago. There were also many vehicles parked in the courtyards. Rathaihi, Yanaihi, Vimanaishcha. Chariots, carriages and vimans, or flying vehicles.
Perhaps this reference to 4-tusked elephants and vimans is a poetic embellishment.
We modern readers find it difficult to accept that man had the technology to build flying vehicles so many thousands of years ago, a time when 4-tusked elephants were still around. And we have seen that Valmiki has poetically embellished his narration many times. But in this case, Valmiki has mentioned the elephants and the vimans in the matter-of-fact way. His words do not read like poetic embellishment. But it is up to you what you make of it. And then Hanuman saw, right in the middle of the courtyard, the Pushpak Viman, the greatest Viman in the world. Pushpakam Tatra Vimanamuttamam. Every part, every feature of Pushpak had been built with great care and effort. It was decorated with many beautiful images, including one of goddess Lakshmi. Lakshmi standing in a lotus pond, holding lotuses in her hand, and 2 elephants doing abhishek, holding lotuses in their trunks and showering her with water. A classic depiction of Lakshmi that can be seen to this day on many a temple wall. As Hanuman went further into the inner chambers of the palace, he was hit by a strong smell of alcohol and food. He noticed wine on the floor. Hanuman came across what looked like a banquet hall. There were large vessels with meats of deer, buffalo, pig, peacock, chicken, goat, and fish, and a variety of fruits and wines. Half-eaten plates, glasses, and ornaments were strewn all around. The smell of wine was like a guide that said to Hanuman, "Come this way," and led him to where Ravan rested, the king's bedchamber. It was a massive hall dedicated to the pleasures of the senses. Hundreds of young and beautiful women lay around. Parivritter dharatre tu pananidravashangatam kriditvo paratam ratrau prasuptam balavattada. Drinking and having fun well past midnight, they had all dozed off. Their hair was disheveled, vermilion marks on their foreheads smudged, necklaces and waist belts snapped, and clothes partially slipped off. Some slept while still holding in their arms the musical instruments they had been playing. Others slept in each other's arms. Clearly, a lot had happened here earlier in the evening. No wonder. Jwalantah deepah praikshanto nimisha iva. Even the lamps stared without blinking. And there, in the middle of it all, was the king of the Rakshasas. He was sleeping on a magnificent golden bed, inlaid with crystals and ivory and covered with soft sheepskin. The bed was on a raised dais and under a white canopy decorated with flowers. And of course, he was not alone. Beautiful maidens with slender waists and moon-like faces, decked with jewelry and flower garlands, and exhausted after much drinking, slept here and there on Ravan's bed. Some were resting at his feet, and others on his laps and arms. Ravan's battle-scarred arms were strong like iron beams. They resembled elephant trunks and were dangerous like two angry snakes. Just the sight of these arms made people tremble with fear. In this sarga, Valmiki gives a detailed description of Ravan's sleeping form. This description is a good place to recheck how many heads and arms Ravan really had. Remember how Shurpanakha had seen Ravan in his court, sitting on a throne and wearing a crown that made it look like he had 10 heads and 20 arms. And Ravan is often called Dashanana and Dashamukha, the one with 10 heads. Some people are unsure what to make of this. Here, Valmiki has used the words Ananam and Mahamukhat while talking of Ravan's face. These words are in the singular form. For the arms, the word used is Bhujau, which is in the dual form or Dvivachan. In Sanskrit, we have not only the singular and plural forms, but also the dual form, which is used when referring to two objects. Clearly, Ravan had only one head and 2 arms, not 10 heads and 20 arms.
And who were all these women in Ravan's palace?
Yuddhakamena tas sarvah Ravanena hritas striyah Samada madanenaiva mohitah kaschidagatāh. Many of these women had been captured by Ravan as spoils of war, while others had come here willingly, drawn by their lust. And then Hanuman saw Mandodari, Ravan's dearest wife. She was sleeping by herself on a separate bed, a little away from everything else. Her beauty seemed to light up the whole room. Hanuman thought for a moment, is she Sita? But then he quickly concluded, the Sita that Ram had talked about cannot be in a place like this. He would have to look for her elsewhere. Iti, her, asa. That is how it happened.